As dungeon masters, there's a lot of work that goes into making our games run smooth. There's a lot of really good tools out there to help us do this and to facilitate, searching for things and finding things quickly and making sure that we keep our players in the game rather than in a book. So lately I've been showing you a series of tools for Foundry Virtual Tabletop and how we can use these to help enhance our games, not just when playing on Foundry as a virtual tabletop, but also as a campaign management tool to run our games in person. Today, let's continue that theme and look at another product from Kobold Press, Tome of Beasts. Let's get into it. Hello everybody, I'm Joe and this is the DM Toolbox, your go-to place to get all the tools you need to enhance your D&D game. Today, I want to continue our ongoing series of Foundry Virtual Tabletop modules that can help us with our D&D games both online and in person. And I want to look at yet another Kobold Press product, Tome of Beasts. Now, Tome of Beasts is Kobold Press's oldest 5th edition monster book, and it is a fantastic book. A lot of people who don't even know much about Kobold Press know Tome of Beasts and have this book. So I want to take a look at what that looks like on Foundry, but also an extra little product from Kobold Press, the Book of Lairs, which this is a product that is basically a bunch of little mini dungeons that we can throw into our games that are centered around specific creatures from Tome of Beasts. And this is also available on Foundry, so we're going to look at both this book in Foundry and Tome of Beast today. So let's take a look. All right, so here we are in my Foundry instance, and we're going to take a look at first Tome of Beast. So Tome of Beast, like Creature Codex, which we covered last week, is a compendium module. So in our compendium section, I have Tome of Beast here, and it's just a compendium filled with monsters. So very similar to Creature Codex, right? These are ready to go. We can open these up. We've got artwork, we've got tokens. Everything is ready as far as the features, the biographies, spells. Everything's in here, good to go. So this is very easy to use. It's just like any other monster compendium. So not to dive too deep into how do I use monsters in Foundry, because we know how to do that. But again, if you didn't see last week's video, there's several advantages. One of which is that we can just search a monster name very quickly in here and pull up what we want. So if I was just looking for the kobold stuff, here's a kobold chieftain, and I'm ready to go. And I can pull up the stat block, read right from here. I come into my features, I can see my attacks and everything in here, and we can roll our attacks and do all that stuff right at the table with our dice if we want to. So very easy to do. The other thing too is there is modules for Foundry. So we talked about this last week as well, but just to take a quick look, Compendium Browser being one of the most useful. Right now I have it set up to only look at Tome of Beasts, but I can enable it to look at Creature Codex and the SRD and any other monster compendiums I have. And we can start searching. So if I know that I want a CR6 monster, I can pop that in and here's all my CR6s. If I also want that CR6 to be a specific creature type, let's say I'm looking for a giant, there we go. I found my only CR6 giant in the whole book. If I'm looking for maybe anything CR6 or less, I can also do that. And that's also a giant. So we can start filtering and finding things that we want. And it's not just based off of CRs and monster types, but I can look for creatures with, if I want to find a creature that has got cold immunity, because I'm doing like a cold type dungeon, I want creatures like that. Here's every creature that's immune to cold damage. I can look for creatures with certain vulnerabilities. Maybe not only are they cold, but I want something that's vulnerable to fire. So I can, click on both of these, see if we have anything that's both. So here we go. Here are creatures that are both vulnerable, or I should say immune to cold and vulnerable to fire at the same time. These might fit my theme very well. So having a tool like this can make creating your encounters and planning stuff as a DM a lot easier as well. So yet another good reason to have something like Foundry and have Tome of Beast for Foundry ready to go, even if you're not planning on playing virtually. Another point I like to make too is sometimes you can't play in person all the time. My group, we play in person maybe once every 4 to 5 sessions, and the other sessions we play online. So using Foundry, we're able to bounce back and forth very easily. I have them use D&D Beyond in person, and then I just sync their character sheets down to Foundry and back up to D&D Beyond with a module, and we're able to keep our game going between the two. However, if we wanted, they could just use their Foundry character sheets in person as well. That wouldn't be a big deal. There's a lot of advantages to having your stuff in a tool like this, because now everything's in one place. I could have my adventure going, and I have it says that they're going to run into a Kobold chieftain, and there's a link right in the text journal of that can pull up that stat block right out of the compendium. So very, very handy. Hey guys, I just want to pause real quick and just remind you, if you haven't done so already, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. It helps me out as we're growing. I want to bring you guys more content, maybe some more giveaways, and those subscriptions really help me to do that for you. Also, if you like this video, if you like the content, make sure you give it a thumbs up, and I'll try to bring you some more just like it. That brings us to the Book of Lairs. So let's take a look at Book of Lairs, which is an adventure module. So in Foundry, we have this new type of compendium called Adventures. So you can see here I have Book of Lairs, and when I open that up, it will pull up this with every one of the adventures, every one of the maps and adventures in that book. So I can pick one of these and import it. I will get a map filled with walls, dynamic lighting, creatures, everything, journal entries, ready to go. So let's pick one at random here. This Alchemist Guild Hall looks cool. So I'm going to click on this. This is going to say it's going to bring in 5 actors, 2 items, 1 journal entry, 1 scene, and 7 folders. So I import it and done. So let's start off on the scenes here. And under the Book of Lairs, here is the Alchemist Guild Hall. So let's go to that scene. And you can see here, it's ready to go. I can look here. I can see all the walls and doors are done. If there's any lighting, that'll be on here as well. I don't see any lighting. I think this is probably a globally lit map. There are entries here, so I can say, all right, well, we're exploring and they come into this room. What's this room? It's the sleeping chamber. I can open that up. It'll bring the entry up right away, and we have everything here. Now I see a broken link here. There are a few things that broke in the version 10 upgrade of Foundry, but I've already talked to Kobold Press, and this is all being updated. So these broken links will be fixed probably within the next couple weeks. So nothing to worry about there. But you can see here, for instance, it says the adventurers take a short rest here after defeating the occupants by patrolling alchemists or the lake troll. And you see how lake troll is linked here. So if I click on that, it pulls up the lake troll right away. Now, what's cool is if this is a separate product, you buy this from Kobold Press separately, you do not need to own Tome of Beast. Though this creature is from Tome of Beast, they do import the specific creatures you need for that adventure. So you don't have to have Tome of Beast to be able to play these adventures and get access to these creatures. So these are self-contained, ready-to-go adventures. If we take a look here, we'll go into the journal. I already had it open, but I just want to kind of show you here. I had already imported Citadel of the Void Dragon before. Here is the Alchemist Guild Hall. So you can see here the full thing ready to go. And if I click on this, it allows me to scroll through page by page. And we can see the whole adventure ready here with artwork and everything. Good to go. So what's great about this is I like using things like Book of Lairs or some of Kobold Press's other stuff like the Prepared series, which we will cover in the future, probably next week, to use as kind of filler encounters rather than rolling some random encounter and saying, oh, bandits attacked you in the woods. I find a good encounter, like if we're near a lake, on a lake shore or something like that, I could say, you see this building, that seems to be kind of standing alone on the lake, and it has a little pier out into the water with another, larger building, maybe a boathouse or something out there. And the players can come and we can have an entire encounter here that's, a little more well written. It's got, some good content to it rather than, you're attacked in the woods. So these make for some great random encounters and things like that, or just, good stuff to kind of put in when your players go off path, off track, and you need something to get them going. Book of Lairs is perfect for that. So again, we're at the table, right? We're not even playing in Foundry. We're just at the table. And this happens. We need something real quick. I can pull up my, I have Foundry in front of me. I'm using it as a campaign management tool. I can pull it up. I can pull up this compendium for the Book of Lairs. I can find something quickly that I like, and I can, have a map up. And then, if I'm using a TV, I can push this out to the TV. If I'm just using like a Chessex map, I have a map in front of me here that I can just copy and draw out. And I have an adventure, and I have monsters and everything, stat blocks ready to go in seconds. So super, super handy, great tool to have for any dungeon master. So, I think I probably said this before in my other videos, but I'm trying to kind of build a good picture for you here so you can see how these tools can all work together to really become a true campaign management tool, something easy for any dungeon master to use. So if you are somewhat more of a digital DM, this is a great way to go. So take a look at both Tome of Beast and the Book of Lairs from Kobold Press on Foundry VTT. I think you'll like it a lot. I think you're starting to really see how all of this can work together really well to make your games run smoother, quicker, and just have the content you need right at your fingertips all the time. All right, that's it for today. And until next time, roll those dice.